He locked me in the car on his sister's wedding day for 2 whole hours. I didn't realize I was holding my breath until I exhaled and fogged up the car window. There I was sitting in the back lot of a wedding venue in the middle of June, sweating through a dress I'd spent weeks choosing makeup, melting down my face, clutching my purse like it could protect me from what just happened. It couldn't. Because the person who was supposed to protect me, Raul, had just locked me in his car and walked away with my phone in his hand like I was some mistake. We'd been dating for 8 months. Not a lifetime, but long enough for me to believe we were building something real. Not perfect, but honest, safe, or at least that's what I thought. I guess I should rewind. We met at this quirky little art exhibition. It was during one of those night viewings where everything's overly curated and wine flows freely, even though everyone's pretending to appreciate brushstrokes. A thunderstorm hit midway through the show and cut the power. Total darkness, just a sea of phone flashlights and murmured confusion. And then someone bumped into me. That someone was Raul. He apologized profusely, helped me find the bathroom. My contact had popped out in the chaos and stayed nearby until I was okay. We ended up sitting in the museum cafe talking for hours. When the lights flickered back on, he looked at me like I was the painting worth seeing. He said the emergency lights made me look like something out of a dream. Cheesy, I know, but it worked. It really worked. For months after that, we were just good. He'd come over with takeout and wine, always remembered the little things I said I liked, and when I was feeling down about work, he'd send me ridiculous memes until I laughed out loud. It wasn't fireworks all the time, but it felt like slow-burning warmth, like safety. That's why I was excited when he finally invited me to his sister's wedding, Monica. I'd never met his family before, and he'd always had excuses: too busy, too much going on, not the right time. But this time, it was official, and I wanted to show up well, respectfully, kindly. I wanted to make a good first impression. I spent weeks hunting for the right dress. I settled on a soft, dusty rose midi with silver embroidery that shimmered when the light hit it. Elegant but understated, I paired it with the silver necklace Raul gave me for our 6-month anniversary. I even curled my hair, which I never do. I wanted to look like someone you'd want to welcome into your family. But more than anything, I wanted them to like the gift Raul had mentioned. Monica and her fiancé were anime fans, planning to honeymoon in Japan. So I saved for 2 months, cut lunches, skipped my little coffee shop treats, picked up freelance projects just to give them something meaningful. I converted won $500 into Japanese yen, added a certificate for a traditional tea ceremony experience in Kyoto, and placed it all in a hand-painted wooden box with cherry blossoms. I was proud of it, nervous but proud. Raul picked me up looking tense. I chalked it up to wedding stress. But halfway to the venue, he looked over at me and frowned. "Is that what you're wearing?" he asked. I blinked. "Yeah, why?" He shrugged. "Just, my family's pretty traditional." That should have been my first clue. When we got to the venue, a dreamy garden space outside the city, he pulled into a secluded backlot and parked behind a row of trees. Then he said "I need you to wait in the car." I laughed at first, thought he was joking. He wasn't. "My family doesn't need to see your pathetic face and disgusting dress," he said, dead serious. Then he reached into my purse, took my phone, stepped out of the car, and locked the doors with his key fob. Before walking away, I froze. It took me a full 30 seconds to realize what had just happened. Then panic set in. I tugged the door handles. Nothing. I honked the horn. No one came. I screamed, thinking maybe anyone would hear, but we were too far away, or no one cared. Or maybe worst of all, they all thought I belonged there. Time slowed down. The heat in the car turned brutal. My perfect curls wilted, my mascara smudged into a dull gray haze. I kept trying the locks, kept whispering, this isn't real, but it was. He left me there for 2 hours. 2 hours of silence, of sitting with the horrible realization that the person I trusted had just thrown me away out of convenience, out of embarrassment, out of something I couldn't yet name, but that was already eating at me from the inside. And when he finally came back, he smiled and said, "They're ready to meet you now," like nothing had happened. I stepped out, shaky, humiliated. I asked for my phone. He said later, and I followed him in, because at that point I didn't know how not to. Was I just convenient? Was I just less? The reception tent was glowing twinkling fairy lights, the soft hum of laughter, and the smell of champagne and summer roses. It should have been magical. But for me, it felt like walking into a play I didn't belong in, like I'd accidentally wandered onto someone else's stage in the wrong costume, with the wrong script, and then Raul opened his mouth. Hey sis, this is Nadia. She's just a friend from work, a friend, not my girlfriend. Not Nadia, who I've been dating for 8 months, not even my plus one. Just a friend. With a weird little pause and a dismissive shrug, I forced a smile, my cheeks burning. Monica looked confused but polite. Nice to meet you, she said before turning away, distracted by another guest. And then, like some sick ritual, Raoul repeated it with every new introduction. Friend from work, coworker buddy of mine. Every time it chipped away at something inside me, he never held my hand, never looked at me the way he used to. But he did look at other people, especially that bridesmaid in the navy dress. She winked at him. He winked back. I should have left. I know that. I should have turned around the moment he unlocked that car, but something in me, some mix of shock, fear, and deeply rooted self-doubt made me stay. I think I was trying to find proof that it wasn't as bad as it felt, that there was some explanation, something that would make it all make sense, but there wasn't. I smiled. I made small talk. I even complimented Monica's dress. I stood at the gift table and watched Raoul drop the wooden box I'd spent 2 months crafting among the others without a word. No card, no acknowledgement, just a casual, careless placement like it was something he'd picked up at Target on the way there. And I stood there and let him that night in the car ride back to my apartment. He acted like it had been a normal, even lovely evening. He even tried to kiss me goodnight. I turned my face away. He didn't notice. I stayed up all night replaying everything, every red flag I'd ignored, every time he brushed off talking about the future, every maybe next time when I asked about meeting his family. I wanted to scream. Instead, I sat at my kitchen table, mascara still smudged, staring at the necklace he gave me. I took it off. I haven't worn it since. The next morning, I had 17 texts from him. Good morning, beautiful. Last night was great. You looked amazing. I didn't respond. How could I? How do you respond to someone who erases you in front of their entire family and then pretends it never happened? I called in sick to work. Thank God for remote jobs. No one questioned it. I didn't move from the couch for hours. I just sat there holding a cup of cold coffee, rereading old messages from Raoul, birthday messages. A photo of us on the beach 3 months ago. The text where he called me, my girl, my girl. Was any of it real? That afternoon, he showed up, no warning, just knocked on my door holding takeout from my favorite Thai place. Pad See Ew, the one I always order with extra lime. He smiled like we were about to have a normal Tuesday night dinner. I opened the door, eyes swollen, lips dry. He blinked. What's wrong with you? Wrong with me? I asked him calmly. I think why he locked me in the car, why he introduced me as just a friend. He rolled his eyes. Gina was at the wedding. The bridesmaid, his ex, he admitted they dated for 2 years, that she dumped him, and that he didn't want to look like he'd downgraded. Downgraded? I asked him what he meant. What made me the downgrade? And he said with a straight face, you know what I mean? Gina comes from money. Her dad golfs with mine. Well, you're cute, but you're not exactly country club material. It hit me like a slap I didn't see coming. Not even a raised voice. Just the cool clinical delivery of someone who truly believed they were paying a compliment. I'm dating you despite all that he said. Most guys wouldn't. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there and watched him unpack the takeout onto my coffee table like we were about to watch Netflix. Like he hadn't just revealed that he thought I was less. I asked about the wedding gift. He shrugged. Oh yeah, I told them it was from me. Monica was impressed. Honestly, it was a bit much coming from you anyway. Might have seemed like you were trying too hard. Something broke. Not loudly, not violently, quietly, cleanly. Like a light switch flipped in my head. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I just asked him to leave. He laughed. Why are you being so sensitive? I opened the door, pointed outside. He took the food with him. Of course he did. As the door shut behind him, the silence in my apartment felt peaceful. Empty, but peaceful. And for the first time in weeks, I finally knew I wasn't overreacting. I wasn't imagining things. I'd been disrespected, used, lied to, and I was done. You've already embarrassed yourself. I'm just going to tell the truth. There's a kind of quiet that comes after someone leaves your apartment in anger. Not like a slam door kind of anger, but the slow, sticky kind where their words linger longer than their footsteps. Raoul was gone, and the silence he left behind didn't feel hollow. It felt clean. I sat there still in yesterday's hoodie, surrounded by the remnants of who I had been just a few days earlier. Printed screenshots of our texts, the second gift box I had just recreated, and my laptop blinking on a paused Google search. How to respectfully confront someone's family. I didn't sleep that night. I planned. Because the more I replayed his words, "You should be grateful I'm dating someone like you," the more I realized something: I don't want revenge, I want the truth. I wanted Monica and her new husband Stanley to know that the gift Raoul took credit for wasn't from him. That the research, the tea ceremony, the thoughtful details, that was me. I wanted to meet her properly without being introduced like an afterthought, or worse, a placeholder. I had saved every receipt. I had pictures from the artisan shop where I bought the first wooden box. I had selfies at the currency exchange when I first traded the dollars into yen, grinning like an idiot because I was so proud of myself. I even had the invoice for the calligraphy certificate I ordered with their names written in Japanese. This wasn't about jealousy or even heartbreak. It was about reclaiming me, my kindness, my effort, my worth. The next morning, while Raoul's "Are you still mad?" text piled up like spam, I made a quiet trip to the bank. I withdrew another $1,500, almost everything I had left. It stung, but I reminded myself some things are worth more than money: dignity, truth, closure. I went back to the same currency exchange. The clerk recognized me and gave me a kind smile. I bought another wooden box. Not quite as special as the first one, but still beautiful. Then I rebooked the same tea ceremony experience. Every step of it was like piecing together a version of myself that Raoul had tried to erase. I also did some light social media sleuthing, as one does, and found Monica's Instagram. A post about a family dinner popped up scheduled for Friday evening to thank everyone who helped with the wedding. And guess what? Raoul had mentioned his parents lived nearby. I connected the dots. That dinner would be my moment. So I sent Raoul a text. "Do you want to meet for coffee Friday? I think we should talk." He replied within minutes. "Of course, I'm glad you're ready to be reasonable." Reasonable cute. We agreed to meet at a cafe 15 minutes from his parents' house. I timed it perfectly. The dinner was at 7:00 p.m. I asked to meet him at 5:00. When he arrived, he was smug, relaxed. That familiar condescending smile stretched across his face like nothing had ever happened. I was already seated with 2 coffees and the new gift box sitting on the table between us. He nodded at it. "What's that?" "The wedding gift," I said calmly. "Since you took credit for the original, I made another one. I wanted Monica and Stanley to know the truth." He blinked, confused. Then he laughed. "You're not serious?" I tilted my head. "Oh, I am." His laugh turned nervous. "What are you gonna do? Mail it to them?" I smiled. "No, I'm going to give it to them in person tonight." The color drained from his face, like someone pulled a plug from his soul. "What? You can't do that? My family doesn't even know you're coming?" "They won't understand. You'll embarrass me." And that's when I said it. The line I'd been rehearsing in my head for days, over and over. "I'm not going to embarrass you, Raoul. You've already done that to yourself. I'm just going to tell the truth." I picked up the box, stood up, and walked out of the cafe without looking back. He chased after me, alternating between threats and desperate pleas, but I didn't stop. I slid into my Uber gift, clutched tightly in my lap, and closed the door before he could reach me. I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I just sat there with the kind of calm I hadn't felt in weeks. The truth was finally mine to deliver, and nothing was going to stop me. "We would like to get to know the real you." My hands were trembling, but not from fear. From adrenaline, from the weight of what I was about to do. I stood at Raoul's parents' front door, clutching the gift box like a fragile piece of my heart. The neighborhood was quiet, the sun just beginning to dip behind the trees. It was that golden hour, kind of calm, but inside I was buzzing. I knocked. A woman answered, polished, poised, clearly. Raoul's mother. She looked at me with polite confusion. "Yes," I smiled, nerves creeping into my voice. "Hi, I'm here to see Monica. I have something for her." There was a pause, a beat, and then I heard Monica's voice from inside. "Who is it?" A moment later, she appeared behind her mom, still in a soft sundress, her hair pinned back casually. Recognition flickered across her face. "You're the friend from the wedding." I nodded. "Actually, that's what I came to talk to you about." Her eyebrows lifted, but something in my voice must have registered because she stepped aside and gestured me in. I walked in, every step measured. The house was lovely. Family pictures on the walls, soft clinking sounds from the kitchen, and the low murmur of a TV playing in another room. Raoul's dad was on the couch. Stanley was helping set the table. Monica led me to the corner of the living room. I held out the box. "This is for you and Stanley. Congratulations on your marriage. And before anything else, I just want to say I'm so sorry for showing up uninvited. I know it's not exactly proper, but there's something you deserve to know." Monica looked at me, then slowly took the gift from my hands. "Thank you, but I'm not sure I understand." "My name is Nadia," I said, "and I'm not Raoul's coworker. I'm his girlfriend. Or I guess I was." We've been together for 8 months. Her face shifted confusion, giving way to something darker. I took a breath and continued. At your wedding, he told me to wait in the car, locked me inside for 2 hours, took my phone, then introduced me to everyone as just a friend. Because your bridesmaid, Gina, was his ex, and he didn't want to look like he'd downgraded, Monica's lips parted slightly. Her hands clutched the gift box. I nodded toward it. That gift, the one Raoul took credit for, the $1,000 $500 yen, the tea ceremony, the calligraphy certificate, that wasn't his idea. It was mine. I saved for months, ate ramen, skipped coffees. I just wanted to make a good impression. I did all the research. I booked the experience. I even had your names written in Japanese by a real calligrapher, and he told you it was from him. She opened the box slowly as if needing to see it, to believe me. Stanley joined us, sensing something was off. Monica whispered the gist to him, her voice shaking with anger. Stanley's jaw clenched. I knew something was weird, he said. Raoul never cared about our Japan plans, ever. That's when the door flew open. Raoul, breathless, sweating. He froze the moment he saw me sitting there with his family. What the hell are you doing here? He snapped. Before I could respond, Monica stood up. Is it true? She asked him directly. Did you lock your girlfriend in your car during my wedding? Did you lie about who she was? About the gift? The room went silent. Raoul looked like a deer in headlights. Then came the lies. Quick, frantic, sloppy. She's not my girlfriend. She's just some girl who got attached. None of this is true. So I pulled out my phone, calmly opened our messages. Photos, the beach trip, the birthday card, the necklace. This necklace that I'd worn to the wedding, the one he gave me. Monica took the phone and scrolled. Her face went from confusion to disbelief to fury. Mrs. Alvarez had joined us by now, so had Raoul's dad. The entire family was there, watching, listening. Raoul tried to laugh it off. Okay, fine. We hooked up a few times, but she's overreacting. She's crazy. Crazy. Mrs. Alvarez whispered. Raoul, did you lock her in a car? He stammered. It wasn't like that. Gina was there and I didn't want. Did you lock her in a car? His father asked, voice like stone. Raoul faltered, and then the silence spoke for him. Mrs. Alvarez turned to me, tears forming in her eyes. She reached for my hands and said, I am so sorry for what he did, for everything. I nodded, suddenly feeling that weight in my chest crack wide open. Monica was furious while, Raoul, get out. What? He blinked. You're kicking me out because of her. No, we're asking you to leave because of you. Raoul looked around, waiting for someone to defend him. No one did, and then he left, slammed the door behind him. I stood there shaking tears in my eyes, but not because I was hurt, because for the first time in weeks, I felt seen, heard, believed. And then something I never expected happened. Mrs. Alvarez touched my arm gently. Would you stay for dinner? She asked. We'd like to get to know the real you, I nodded. I stayed. We sat at that family table, awkward at first, but slowly warmer. Stanley asked about the tea ceremony. Monica asked about my work. Her mom shared stories from Raoul's childhood, some funny, some bittersweet. There was laughter, real laughter, and somewhere in between passing the rice and pouring the wine, I felt something I hadn't in a long time. Peace that night as I walked back to my apartment phone buzzing with Raoul's panicked messages. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I had said my truth, and this time someone had finally listened. Sometimes we're holding on to an idea that's already gone. We just don't know it yet. It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since I sat at Raoul's family dinner table telling the truth out loud for the first time. 2 weeks since his lies crumbled under the weight of reality, and 2 weeks since I finally walked away from someone who never saw me clearly. You'd think after everything, after the humiliation, the betrayal, the screaming silence, I'd still be angry, but I'm not. I'm free. That word feels strange in my mouth, like I'm still getting used to it, but it's true. Since that night, Raoul's called me 41 times. Left 41 voicemails to be exact. I didn't listen to them right away. I needed time to be still, to just breathe without his voice in my ear. But eventually, I sat on my balcony with a cup of tea, opened my voicemail, and hit play. The first few were pure rage, accusations, blame, like I was the villain for telling the truth. Then came the tears, actual sobbing. He said I'd ruined his life, that his family turned on him, that he was sleeping at a train station. Gina, the bridesmaid ex, later confirmed this. Apparently, he tried to stay at her place, and she turned him away. Good for her. Then came the bargaining. We can start over. I'll make it right. I'll pay you back. And finally, the desperation, long pauses, sniffles, breathing into the phone like I was some ghost. He hoped would speak back. I never did, because by then something had shifted in me. I realized I wasn't grieving Raul. I was grieving the version of him I wanted him to be. The fantasy I held on to while he chipped away at my worth. I had been mourning an illusion, not a person. What I've been holding on to now is me. Monica and I met for coffee the following week. It was supposed to be a quick thank you, but we talked for 3 hours about everything, about Raul's patterns, about family expectations, about how women so often are told to stay quiet for the sake of peace. She thanked me again, not just for the gift, but for having the courage to show up. A few days later, I got a small package in the mail. Inside was a handmade journal with cherry blossom illustrations on the cover. Tucked inside was a note from Monica and Stanley, for our new friend who helped us see things clearly. Look forward, not back. See you in Kyoto, I cried. Not because I was sad, but because for the first time in a long time, I felt chosen, not for how I looked, or what I could give, but for who I am. Oh, and yes, I'm actually going to Kyoto next spring. Monica and Stanley insisted I join them for part of their trip as their guest. It's not about money anymore. It's about shared experience. Healing new beginnings financially. I'll admit 2 luxury gift boxes back to back wiped out my savings. But I picked up extra freelance work, canceled a few subscriptions I didn't need, and I'm getting back on track. Slowly, steadily, I also changed my locks. Not because Raul ever had a key, but because I wanted to. I even installed a little camera by my door, just in case. But so far, nothing. His calls stopped 3 days ago. I imagine he's moved on to blaming someone else now, probably telling people I was too emotional or too intense. Classic. As for dating, nope, not yet. My heart isn't ready, and honestly, that's okay. I'm learning to enjoy my own company again. I'm going on long walks, reading books I never finished, journaling, taking deep breaths without waiting for a text that never respected my time. Last night, I sat out on my balcony flipping through that journal. I wrote something down that I'd like to share with you. Sometimes we only see what we want to see in people, and sometimes we hold on to an idea of love that's already gone. Not because we're foolish, but because we're hopeful, but hope doesn't mean we have to stay. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is leave. I'm not the same girl who sat in that hot car waiting to be loved. I'm not someone's pathetic face. I'm not less impressive. I'm someone who gives with her whole heart, who loves deeply, who speaks the truth even when her voice shakes. And I don't need someone like Raul to see that anymore. I see it for myself. If you were me, what would you have done? Would you have walked into that house and told the truth? Would you have stayed for dinner? Would you have let it all go? I really want to know. Because maybe in telling our stories, we heal together, and right now, that's all I want to do.